Man, did you see Brittany Renner just converted to Islam? Like, what made her do that? That's wild, dude. I really want to understand what's going on there. Like, think about it, man. This is Brittany Renner we're talking about. She's been all over social media for years, totally open about everything, living wild. And now she's out here wearing hijab, praying, talking about peace and discipline. That's such a massive shift, dude. Something must have really hit her deep to make that kind of change. You know what's crazy, man? When you actually listen to her talk about it, it's not some publicity stunt. It's not for attention. She sounds calm, like she finally found something real. You can feel it, dude. There's this peace in her voice that wasn't there before. And I'm sitting there thinking, how does someone go from chaos, fame, controversy, all that noise, to choosing discipline, modesty, faith? That's not a surface level change, man. That's something internal, something spiritual. It makes you wonder what happens in a person's life that makes them just stop and say, okay, I need something higher than this. All right, so let's actually think about this, man. Brittany Renner, this is someone who's been in the spotlight for, what, like a decade now? She was famous for being bold, outspoken, totally unfiltered. You'd see clips of her talking about relationships, social media stuff, crazy stories, right? She was that personality everyone had an opinion about. Some people loved her confidence, others hated her attitude. But the point is, she lived out loud. And then, out of nowhere, she converts to Islam. Like, that's not a small move, dude. That's not dyeing your hair or changing your Instagram bio. That's a full identity shift. And what's fascinating, man, is that she didn't just say she converted. You can tell she's actually living it. She's wearing hijab, she's learning Arabic, she's talking about prayer, fasting, all that. You don't fake that kind of stuff for long, you know? There's something deep happening there. And that's what I find so interesting. What brings someone to that point? Because, man, if you think about modern culture, especially in America, everything is about attention. It's about being seen, being heard, being validated. You post a picture, get likes, get comments, that's the dopamine hit. That's the drug. And Brittany was like the symbol of that world. So when someone like that suddenly walks away from all that noise and says, I found peace in Islam, you got to stop and go, wait, what did she see that the rest of us are missing? Because it's not like she didn't have options. She had fame, money, platforms, brand deals. She had everything that's supposed to make you happy. But if you listen to her, she's saying none of that gave me peace. That's powerful, dude. That's brutally honest. And it's a story we've heard a lot in different forms. People who reach the top of fame and instead of feeling fulfilled, they feel empty. And that's something I talk about a lot on this podcast, man. How modern culture is kind of sick. We've built his system where your value comes from how much attention you get, not who you are inside. And eventually, that messes with your brain. You start chasing validation instead of meaning. And for someone like Brittany, who lived that life to the fullest, maybe she just hit a wall. Maybe she looked around one day and realized, Saturday, I don't even recognize myself anymore. And then she starts learning about Islam, a religion that's literally the opposite of that whole lifestyle. It's all about humility, modesty, discipline, surrender. That's a huge contrast, man. It's like going from constant noise to total silence, from chaos to structure. And what's wild is a lot of people are starting to do that. Not just her. I've seen it, dude. People from all kinds of backgrounds, actors, influencers, athletes, even regular people, they're saying the same thing, and I was chasing everything, but I felt lost. Then I found faith. It's like a pattern. And it makes sense if you think about the kind of world. We live in overstimulation, social media addiction, fake happiness, comparison, all that stuff. People are spiritually starving. And Islam, man, whether you agree with it or not, offers something very direct: structure, purpose, peace. You pray 5 times a day, you fast, you dress modestly, you focus on community. It's not about self-promotion, it's about self-control. That's something we've kind of lost in the West. You know, we think freedom means doing whatever we want, but sometimes that kind of freedom turns into a cage. You're free to destroy yourself, free to lose your mind scrolling, free to care too much about strangers' opinions, and then you wonder why you're anxious all the time. So when Brittany Renner, someone who literally lived inside that system, steps out and says, "Tis isn't it?" That's not just personal, that's symbolic. It's like a mirror being held up to the whole culture. It's saying, look, even the people who win this game are still miserable. And, dude, that's hard for a lot of people to process. Because we've been sold the lie that fame equals happiness. But it doesn't. It never has. You can see it in her interviews. There's this sense of clarity now. She's like, I used to think I was free, but I was really trapped by my desires. That's such a raw human realization. Most people never get there. They just keep chasing the next thing, new outfit, new partner, new attention, whatever. But when someone actually stops and questions all that, it's like waking up from a dream. And I think what's really interesting, man, is how Islam specifically resonates with a lot of women in that situation, because it gives them boundaries that society took away. Like, Western culture tells women, you can do anything you want, dress how you want, be whoever you want, which sounds empowering, but then it turns them into products. Everything becomes about how you look, how much engagement you get. Islam flips that. It's like under worth is. And in how many people see you, your worth is in your character, your faith, your relationship with God. That's a massive mental shift. And I think Brittany saw that. You can tell she's not doing this for image. She's doing it because she found something solid in a world that's always shifting. Like, we live in this era where nothing's real. AI influencers, filters, fake news, fake bodies, fake emotions, everything's curated. And then here's someone saying just one truth. That's raw. That's raw. That's human. And honestly, man, I think more people are feeling that pull. You don't have to be Muslim to understand it. It's that universal craving for peace, for something that doesn't disappear when your phone dies, like real connection, real meaning. That's what religion, any religion really, tries to give you. But what's wild about Brittany's story is the courage it takes. Because, think about it. She knew people were going to talk. She knew she'd be judged, mocked, criticized. But she did it anyway. That's not weakness, dude. That's strength. It takes guts to change your whole life in front of millions of people who think they already know who you are. And that's what I respect. Whether you agree with her or not, you can't deny the authenticity. You can feel it. She's calmer, she's grounded. And that's what a lot of us are missing, man. We're so busy chasing noise that we forget silence can heal. Maybe that's what she found: silence, purpose, peace. It's wild to think that someone who used to represent everything loud and flashy about modern culture could end up being an example of stillness and faith. But maybe that's exactly what makes it so powerful. Because it reminds us that no matter how far you go down one path, you can always change direction. You can always find something deeper. And that's what this feels like. Not just a conversion, but a transformation. Like, she didn't just switch religions, she switched frequencies. She's tuned into something high. Now. And man, that's fascinating